Hello, dear viewers. This is the Gedi Show, and this is the program dubbed as What Matters. In our focus today, we take a look at the media, social media, and its use and misuse. There's no doubt the social media has given the world an opportunity where information is expressively put by a matter of seconds and taken to a global level. And the world is reduced to a global village. And as such, this information is important for people who are in different places to interact and engage one another while they might not be physically together. But at the same breath, the implications of this information that encircles this is something also that matters and needs to be scrutinized. In the show today, we will be having a closer look at some few examples amidst ourselves on the problems that are related to the use of social media. By distribution in terms of male to female user audience for Facebook, for example, a data in 2020 put that 71% of women were using Facebook as a platform, while 62% of men were using the same platform for different purposes. Now, men are linked to be using social media for more business and economic affairs, while women are observed to be using social media for purpose of personal expression. In as such, this comes with personal responsibility of observing etiquette and ethics. In a fast developing technological world where fake news becomes an order of the day, there is something to worry with regards to the level of illiteracy in our population. For instance, are we careful in how we package this information before we disseminate them to our vast illiterate community, for example, here in Wajir County? It's a question to ask. Now, to go and peruse a bit of that is, first of all, we need to define the definition of fake news. Here, in simple terms, fake news refers to information that is used as to misrepresent real news for the purpose of manipulating and for negative usage, rather. And it's as such represented as real news. Now, the impact of such kind of fake news comes with a lot of societal impact. The society gets misled and they rather get confused of which information is useful, creepy or useful rather. Now, for that matter, if you look at the innuendo content and the explicit video that is roaming around our TikTok platforms, especially our girls, and at a worrying trend, is something that is of an ethical issue. Of course, ethics means that which you can accept or ought to be morally acceptable. Are the videos that are, rich in adult content entertainable by the society? Or what can we do as this? Or are the large influx of fake posts that are intended to tarnish character names and are intended to cause character assassination during campaigns and political rallies are entertainable, or are they ethical as such? In today's world, you can see posts are coming in seconds by people whose intention is to, express themselves to serve their campaign interests. And as such, this is what we call the attention-seeking generation that is digital. So digital era comes with a lot of digital implication. But now it becomes, the sharing part of the fake news is another issue. Research has it, fake news and disinformation trends better and faster in a more widespread audience than real and true content. Why should this be the case? This is the case because we as a community support and basically enhance the ability of this fake content thriving amidst ourselves. But if we say no and identify them, then there is a limitation that the fake news might not be spreaded like bushfire as it is. Everybody is aware of the 2016 United States election, for instance. The content reach of Donald Trump political successes during his presidential campaign, which was led by his team, and the same breath, the character assassination against. This is the trendings of fake news postings in social media, especially during political times. If you come to our Mideast, for instance, it is a wash within our social media site, for instance, of who gets which party, even before a political party, decision was reached by personal candidates themselves. If we, for instance, locate and observe posts that are coming on who is given the tickets for Jubilee Party in the Wajir gubernatorial race, for example, there is a big, worrying trend with regard to that magnitude of Facebook propaganda dissemination. And in reality, none is known to be vying on the Jubilee ticket, for example, for governor position in Wajir. This is the real definition, by example, of fake news. If we now narrow deep down and observe what is happening amidst our, TikTok generation, there is a need for public awareness. And this public awareness starts basically inculcation of moral core values from the side of the parents to at least educate the importance of their kids enjoying the space more positively than choking themselves so hard with contents that are creepy and rather choose to be more popular. Popularity doesn't mean you are ethical. That's why today we highlighted a few examples that you will see as a description of fake news exemplified through posts from Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube and TikTok. On the same note, it's a recommendation to give out that our generation need to know the importance and value of using social media just to connect with friends globally. The world is getting to a place so digital to the extent of even expecting us not to see face to face each other in the next coming few years. The pace at which the artificial intelligence is developing and adding value to our digital knowledge is getting at a higher pace. But do we have the knowledge and the moral uptake to still use our profession digitally without trusting or using the social media platform harmfully? Now, this program now sensitizes you to be an ambassador of goodwill against advocating for better use of social media and capping the vices that we see and observe. We're already feeling the effect of misuse of our digital platforms. Now, as we use them to be more vocal and express ourselves, we intend to forget that we are, for instance, people who are inclined towards a certain belief and faith. We are required to behave, for instance, and dress in a manner that is supposed to be publicly acceptable. But that seems to be a non-issue amongst our young generation who are hell-bent on content rather that is unnecessary to themselves and to their lives. You know, for instance, we have graphic violence in a way of content and nudity taking a better airtime of our TikTok users and sometimes in any other platforms, social online platforms. It's upon us to now come into this gap to sensitize and send a clarion call to those who are rather misusing social media to make use of the chance and come up with contents more important to themselves and to the larger society. Now, if we may take a closer look on the latest data of usage, we have 56.6% of male, according to a research taken in the year 2022, who are using Facebook, 43.4% of female using the same platform, whilst women now lead in the Snapchat at 53.8% against 45.4% of male. This is distribution, distribution of audience and usage for different platforms. This means the way the female audience targeted or are using social media use that opportunity, that digital opportunity is totally different, majorly as seen from research than that of men. Female audience who are using digital platforms are now walking in a tightrope in between choosing ethics and popularity. And if it goes like this, then we'll be glaring at a future that is totally immoral and highly lost in terms of social fabric. As this trending weakens our bond of unity, there is a question: is social media getting us together or it's taking us apart? Considering the amount of time we utilize and give to social media, the number of minutes we are on our screens and the number of engagements we do socially are two different things. Digital content requires our times. We need to be hell-bent on creating content that will sell our image, content that will be having more viewership, more likes. And as we now disintegrate the society and forget one another to come closer physically and have a human touch for one another, we are better off in using social media positively than losing ourselves into it. Do we understand that social media is meant for certain purpose, even when it was innovated? Or are we out of the fact that we are not using these platforms the way they are required to use? There's a code which they say, if you're not paying for the product, you are the product yourself. And there's a comment I have gone through while doing research that often those who quitted using platform like Facebook got, more exposed to reality and real life and have been reporting, having, lighter life, brightened up and more social. And the world is now as it is getting more digital as technology evolves. It's up to us now to be very careful in how we choose in between technology and humanity. That's our show.